Hello everyone, welcome back to another Doctor Who action figure review. In today's Doctor Who action figure review, I'm taking a look at the friend and foes of the Doctor, containing either a Cyberman or Cyber Leader, River Song, and a Clockwork Droid, all from the 10th Doctor era, even though it's mainly 11th Doctor era Cybermen, 11th Doctor River Song, and hey, I guess you're 10th Doctor, aren't you? Clockwork Droid. So the way this video is going to work is we're going to take a look at the packaging, articulation and detail, and we will do a comparison on all the existing figures that Character Options have done to make these new versions from the Cybermen to the Clockwork Droid. So without further ado, let's take a look at the packaging. Packaging wise for the friend and foes of the Doctor, so we've got the style guide motif that we saw launched last year, Doctor Who, the 10th Doctor colour banner there, the light blue. Somehow this is a 10th Doctor set, but we'll get on to that in the actual review itself. It's all a little bit sus. So we've got the figures displayed there, all very nice. What the set includes, featuring River Song, Cyberman and Clockwork Man. The scale of the figures there, the limited edition, the name of the set, 10th Doctor Character Options, the side of the set, and the back of the box there with a little bio on each of the characters that feature within this set. Articulation wise for River Song, so the head can do a full 360-degree turn. The arms can do a full 360 and are ball jointed, so you can get some nice dynamic gun poses. 360 at the bicep, bend at the elbow, 360 at the wrists, and of course we do have 360 at the waist. And the legs are on a T-crotch joint, so you can kick out and move forwards and backwards, and of course bend at the knee. And we do have 360 at the boot as well. The Clockwork Droid articulation, so the head can move just a little bit, but it's hindered by the sort of masquerade mask. The arm can do a full 360-degree turn, bend at the elbow, and we do have a little bit of wrist articulation there. We do have waist again, but again it's hindered by the coat, and of course the T-crotch joint, so can kick out to the side, move forwards and backwards, and of course bend at the knee. Articulation wise for the Cyberman, so the head can do a full 360-degree turn, and of course is ball jointed, so it can tilt sideways and look up and down. The arms can do a full 360-degree turn and are ball jointed, so it can kick out like so. And then we do have bend at the elbow, 360 at the wrist, and of course we do have a sort of pivot joint, so it can rock forwards and backwards. The legs can kick out and to the side, so we can do the cyber splits, bend at the knee, and we do have ankle rocker on the foot as well. On to the review itself, so I thought I'd kickstart with River Song. So if we take a look at River Song, so this uses the Series 5 River Song body with a new head sculpt. So here is the new head sculpt. And yeah, Alex Kingston's one of those people at Character Options I don't think have ever got the likeness spot on. And I think in terms of this likeness, I think this is just my humble opinion. I think this is the best sort of River Song likeness. I think that this really sort of captures the character with the expression of that little slight smile to represent that sort of cheeky nature of River Song there. I don't think that this is a dead ringer to Alex Kingston. I don't think this likeness is going to rival the Ncuti Gatwa likeness, but I definitely can see Alex Kingston within this likeness from certain angles. So yeah, I think the head as well just seems a little bit too small for the actual body. It seems a little bit sort of pea-headish, and I've got another issue in a minute which we'll get onto once we go onto the detail. So let's kickstart the detail. So the hair has been given this sort of light sort of brown base coat, and then sort of a blonde sort of wash over to give that sort of nice texturing detail with the hair there, with the individual strand details, and of course that sort of wash really does give that hair a sense of depth, and of course capturing the sculpted texturing detail on the hair itself there, which again, really nice attention to detail, sort of the curls there. And if we move to the likeness there, you can see Alex Kingston ever so slightly there. I think it is one of those ones where it's a lot better in person, but when you see the other River Song figures, you'll think, yeah, this looks like Alex Kingston compared to the others. So like I was saying, this uses the moulded plastic technique, and I think majority of the results it's been a success. I think that this is the first figure where it doesn't quite work, because of course you have the moulded plastic head, and then you've got the painted skin tone chest there with sort of a neck section, and it doesn't quite line up, so it seems a little bit jarring I think on camera it looks a little bit worse, but yeah, you can see that it doesn't quite match that well. So it's very odd, and of course the head just seems ever so slightly small, so it doesn't quite fit the body there. So it's a bit odd. It's a bit odd. I know that this is a kit bash, and you know it's great to have a new variant of River Song from Pandorica Opens, even though it's very much a blink and you'll miss it variant. It's just a little bit bizarre, that sort of moulded plastic. If we move to the costume, so we've got the nice texturing detail on the collar of the jacket there, again creases to give that lifelike effect, and we have this very wobbly belt which you sort of have to sort of push down there to make it sort of stay in place, but that's got some nice detailing with a nice dry brushing of the greys and silver to give that sort of worn and sort of washed metal look, which is great. Again, glossy detailing on the actual sort of pouches there, and the silver detailing. Then we've got the sort of stippling detail on the actual sort of belt of the costume there, and then we have the glossy black sort of hands what have been painted glossy black to give that sort of glove illusion, which is very odd when they already have a River Song glove sculpt there. You can see sort of the little dots there of the actual glove there, but they've just decided to sort of paint the River Song hands a glossy black to give that illusion of gloves. So yeah, it's very odd that they have the sculpt but they didn't go for it, which is, yeah, bizarre. Again, we have the glossy black sort of gun holster there, and of course we have the sort of detailing of the little buckle, and then we have the glossy black boots there, again with nice creasing details to give it lifelike effect. And then of course we do have a River Song's trusty gun. Again, that's been painted black and then given a dry brush of silver to give that metal look. Different to the other River Song gun there, which is painted white, which I only remember River Song having that sort of gun. I don't remember seeing her with a sort of black sort of space age gun in the actual show. But yeah, it's been a while since I've watched Pandorica Opens. But yeah, there we go, that is the detail for River Song. So let's go on to the comparison. Here we have the River Song lineup. So we've got the Series 4 River Song there, the Series 5 River, the B&M, and the San Diego Comic-Con Pandorica Open River Song. So if we take a look at the sort of head sculpts there, so we've got the original Silence in the Library one there, which, yeah, kind of looks like Alex Kingston, but yeah, hopefully you can see what I mean, that this does seem a bit more Alex Kingston likeness-esque compared to the others. And of course this is the main comparison there. Yeah, what a strange likeness to Alex Kingston that one is. Yeah, very, very odd there, but hopefully you can see that this does capture a little bit more of Alex Kingston compared to whatever this is. But yeah, you can see this is the main bulk of the figure with the sort of body use there. But yeah, there we go, that is the River Song lineup there. Next up, the Clockwork Droid. Now this is, I believe, the last sort of male variant of the Clockwork Droid we needed. This sort of beigey yellow costume version. And yeah, I love the Clockwork Droid figures. I think they're incredibly dated with not having this sort of bicep swivel, which, you know, you see them pose like that in the episode with sort of their arms sort of across their sort of chest. Yeah, it's very much a product of its time, and I think it's still a great figure, which we're going to explain why it's still a great figure in the detail. So let's take a look at the mask of this. So we've got the nice sort of masquerade sort of paint taps on the actual mask there with the nice intricate sort of golds and sort of red detail there, that sort of creepy smile. Yeah, I think the Clockwork Droid is one of the best monsters in the show. I love them. I think they're really creepy and yeah, just really sort of represent sort of early RTD Who. And then we've got the wonderful wig there, which again been painted in a sort of black and then been given sort of grey sort of highlights there to really highlight sort of the curling and texturing detail of the actual wig there again. And that's not all for the head detail. One of my favourite features of the Clockwork Droid, and this gives them a lot of playability. If we just remove the mask like so, we have the inner clockwork in detail of the actual Clockwork Droid there, which again, really lovely. I didn't expect them to do this in sort of the B&M line, since, you know, this is sort of a budget line, but to get that sort of in this is great, that sort of clear plastic there. And if you move the head, hopefully this will pick up on camera, it sounds like a ticking clock, which I think is really lovely. Yeah, I love that. So we put the sort of mask back on. If you take a look at the actual costume, So we've got the main sort of base coat sort of being this sort of yellowy sort of base coat there, and of course we have a nice like creasing details on the jacket. We've got this glorious gold trim alongside the actual jacket and sort of trim of the pockets and the cuffs there, and of course we have the lovely sort of bow tie slash cravat, which is, you know, thrilling detail there. You can see sort of the sort of netting detail there, again really lovely. And then there's been a slight wash added to the waistcoat to give that sort of texturing detail there. So yeah, I really love sort of the gold piping detail alongside this sort of jacket. It really does make the figure pop and stand out. And if we move to the side there, got the trim detailing on the actual pockets and the gold buttons there. Really lovely attention to detail. Then we've got the sort of the creases of the jacket to give that sort of lifelike effect. The sort of cut of the jacket there, really amazing detail, really. And then of course we have the frilly shirt there with sort of the sections of the frills there, you know, representing the third Doctor there, which is lovely. And then we move down to sort of the breeches there. We've sort of got the elasticated cuff of the actual trousers there, again lovely. And then we've got the white socks there and the buckle on the shoes there, lovely detailing. And then of course we have his little buzzsaw or injector, so this has been painted silver, and then with the little gold sort of buttons sculpted there, and sort of the little sharp edge cutter there replicated excellently there. So yeah, lovely detail for the Clockwork Droid, even the little buttons on the waistcoat. It's just a lovely little figure from 2007. It might be outdated, but I tell you what, it has wonderful detail. So let's look at the other Clockwork Droids in the line. The Clockwork Droid boys are back in town. That'd be a really weird band, wouldn't it, the Clockwork Droids? But here is the lineup. So we've got the, I believe, either the Woolworths or Toys R Us Series 2 figure pack version. Then we've got the single carded sort of Chief Clockwork Droid, then the blue version, then the collect and build Girl Phantom purple Clockwork Droid, which is very rare, and of course we have the B&M version there. But since we're talking about the Clockwork Droid, I thought I'd quickly talk about this, because not many people know about this variant. You can see that there is a slight difference in the jacket. This has a navy blue jacket compared to the sort of black jacket from the single carded version. So I just thought I'd show you that, since we're talking about the Clockwork Droids, and you know, people like to see variants, obscure variants that people might not know. But yes, as you can see, the main basis for this figure is the blue Clockwork Droid. There you can see the differences in sort of the paint details on the masks there. And if we move down to the actual costume, one thing to note actually with the B&M Clockwork Droid, it uses the actual sort of Chief buzzsaw thing. Hopefully that'll get on camera. There you can see it uses the buzzsaw version instead of the sort of syringe version which the other ones have there. There we go. But yeah, you can see sort of the differences there with the sort of masks. And if we move down to the other section of the costume, the shoes, they all have the sort of gold buckle detail. The B&M one has the silver version, so I guess he's a bit of a peasant is the B&M version on there. So yeah, that is the Clockwork Droid lineup of figures. Lovely figures, I still love them. For many people, this is the highlight of the set. This is the reason people are picking up this set, and that is of course for either the Cyber Leader or Cyberman. Now this is based off a Good Man Goes to War, but it's really not. It's a Cyber Leader based from the Monopoly 2011 version. So this is a very obscure Cyber Leader version. I think Al Juar classed this as a Cyber Lieutenant from A Good Man Goes to War, because the original Cyber Leader in Good Man Goes to War has sort of the brain, like the Cyber Controller, and the one we see in the next Doctor. But yeah, it's a Cyber Leader because it's got the black handlebars. But yeah, this is probably the reason people are picking this up, like I say, because the Series 6 Cyberman figure was very hard to get. It was released, I think, late 2011, early 2012. And I don't know why it was so rare, whether there was sort of a limited number of these done, but this has been given the B&M spruce up, which we'll take a look at when we do the comparison compared to the original version. So if we take a look at the details, so this uses the 2006 Cyberman body, the Cybus body, but this is our Universe Cyberman because it doesn't have the C on the chest. So if you take a look at the details, so we've got this nice Lovely metallic finish, silver, which is very, I think, pretty much the same as we saw on the K1 robot and sort of the 60s History of a Dalek sets. It's this nice sort of bright silver, which, you know, works well for the Cybermen because they've had a bit of an upgrade in A Good Man Goes to War. So we've got a nice sort of panelling detail on the top of the head there. We've got the black handlebars there, have been painted in this sort of glossy black paint to show that he's important because, you know, he's leader. And of course we have the Cybus, we don't have the Cybus, to lie. We have our universe sort of chest with the sort of circle, that's a little decal. It's interesting that they've gone for the decal, I guess like the original, but they do have the sculpt, what we saw on the sort of corroded Cyberman, so it's interesting whether that, because the corroded Cyberman sort of has a different sort of chest moulding where it doesn't fit on that, so yeah, interesting that they didn't use that, but I guess it makes sense just to use sort of the decal there. But yeah, that's been applied nicely. One of the highlights for these Cybermen figures, and something that's been missing on all the Cybermen figures probably since, you know, they were first released, is that they've painted the undersuit for the first time, which is wonderful for these sort of clean Cybermen. They've been painted a grey and then given a sort of black wash to give that sort of tubing effect, and it looks really great. It really does sort of stand out and gives these figures a little bit more presence and a little bit more detail, so you can really see the detail there on sort of the undersuit there with all the tubing. It's great, I love that. And of course we move back up there, we've got a sort of sectioning detail of the armour of the chest, and then the little indents there on the armour, the tubing and the piping there, the nuts and bolts on the arms there, and of course the panel detailing on the back there. Again, really lovely. And of course we've got copyright on the Cyberman's bum, because why not? Yeah, I really like that the undersuit's been painted. It just really adds to that. And of course we have the little detailing there of the sort of sculpted on the armour, and of course on the boots there, and of course we do have the Cyber tread there. So that is the detail for the Cybermen, very much what you expect from sort of the, if you own a sort of Cyberman figure from the new series, you know what you're getting with the detail, with the great sort of veins on the hands and sort of the panelling detail there. And of course we have sort of the open palm, so you can have him either electrocuting or sort of giving orders, putting dynamic poses, but it comes in very handy for the preacher gun there. So if you just get the preacher gun there, you can see that it's this moulded in a black plastic and been given sort of a slight sort of hint of sort of grey sort of plastic sort of wash to give it that sort of worn look to it, and that does fit into the Cyberman's hand like so, and we just pose it like so. There we go, you complete your Good Man Goes to War Cyberman army there. So let's do a Cyberman lineup. The Cyber lineup, so we've got a Cyberman from 2006, one from the Cyber Controller Throne Room set, then we have the original Series 6 version, then we have the two new B&M versions, and then we have the Cyber Leader from the Dalek Battle Pack. So you can see the difference in sort of the silver, because I think originally with the Cybermen figures they sort of painted the figures and sort of moulded them in a black plastic, then sort of painted them silver, so you get a sort of washed and sort of torn sort of metal there, you can see there. And if we just compare the original Series 6 version to the new B&M version, you can see the difference in silver there and what difference that sort of undersuit being painted adds to the figure. It just really makes the sort of silver of the armour pop wonderfully. And if we move across to the Cyber Leaders there, you can see the differences there in the actual figs themselves. So yeah, little bit of a Cyber lineup there. What are my concluding thoughts on the Friend and Foes of the Doctor set? Well, I think that it's such an odd set, and I'm kind of here for it. I think that this is a step in the right direction in terms of the figure packs. I think that it's quite a novel idea doing sort of a 50-50 split, so you can get a Cyberman and Cyber Leader. I mean, it would have been lovely if they did this sort of last year with the Deadly Assassin set, that you could have got a President figure as well. But that's, you know, that doesn't really matter now, that's been and gone. But this set, like I say, it's just a little bit odd in the sense that it's a 10th Doctor set, but it's mainly 11th Doctor variants of the characters. I guess all these figures did technically start in the 10th Doctor era, and I think that, you know, this set is very much sort of a product of its time in terms of the articulation, like the Clockwork Droid, but it still holds up in the level of detail. I think getting the Good Man Goes to War Matt Smith era Cybermen back out, considering they were very hard to get, is great. And I think that I think people are going to be buying multiple, mainly to get, you know, a little cyber army, and of course to get the cyber leader, or cyber lieutenant, whatever you want to class it as. I think, yeah, people are going to be picking up multiples of those. I think the River Song variant is neat, a nice little obscure version of River, who is very much a blink and you'll miss it sort of costume. But like I say, I do have a few little issues with sort of the head sculpt, in terms of sort of the proportions of it, and sort of the sort of not aligning with the sort of painted sections of the figure. The Clockwork Droid, yeah, just takes me back to when I first got the figure when I was a kid, and I still love it. And I think, you know, having a little group of them now is lovely to complete the sort of lineup. It would be great to get the female Clockwork Droids eventually. But yeah, it's a nice little odd set. I think I like it. I think it offers some nice things. Getting the accessories is a big plus, because, you know, when we get Doctor figures, they don't come with their sonic screwdriver, so it's a step in the right direction with the figure packs. I think that this is a great addition, and I think that it's great to sort of get these new versions of figures that, you know, are hard to get. So it makes it appealing for people who have purchased these already, and gives them a chance to double dip and get the updated versions. Because like I say, having the cyber undersuit painted just really completes these Cybermen figures. There we have it. That's been my review of the Friends and Foe of the Doctor set. Let me know your thoughts on this set. Are you picking it up? Have you picked it up already? Which version are you going to go for? Are you going to go for, you know, a Cyberman and Cyber Leader, or are you just going to get the one version? So yes, there's plenty more Doctor Who figure related content coming up in the near future, so please do like and subscribe for plenty more Doctor Who figure related content coming up very soon. So thank you very much for watching, and bye bye.